We're interested in developing ourselves to the very maximum potential that God has given us.
Welcome to the Don Eddy basketball teaching videotapes. Coach Eddy is considered to be one of the finest technicians in basketball, as he has a wealth of experience and knowledge from almost 30 years as a high school and collegiate coach. A Kentucky native, Coach Eddy was brought up in the hotbed of basketball, learning the rudiments of the game from some of the best coaches in the country. Don Eddy's belief is that God has provided each of us the mechanics for success. With his concern for young people, Coach Eddy wants to produce the best of their efforts to be successful in basketball and in life. Each student can develop and enhance his or her own potential as they learn these systems of individual skills. The shooting and one-on-one systems of play are the most sound and teachable individual development programs in the game. Coach Eddy has a philosophy: details make the difference. And we encourage you to think about that attitude as you view and study these videotapes. It will benefit you to remember, little things make perfection, but perfection is no little thing.
So what we've tried to develop is a system of individual player development. You know, teams, coaches have offensive, defensive systems of play. And what we have developed is a system for individual development. A system meaning that you build one part upon the other, and where you know really how developing ourselves to the very maximum potential that God has given us in the individual skills that play the game. You know, it's a team game, but the team game is built upon the individuals that play it, how good their skills are. And so the important thing about what we're doing is it is correctable. In other words, you are going to be the most important coach you're ever going to have, because you're always there when you're working out. And so understanding how you correct yourself when things get out of line. And that's what this system has built into it. And so we want to understand what body awareness is. In other words, what our body is doing. And when it gets out of sync, out of tune, something goes wrong, we immediately know, built into the system, how to get it right. All of our shots in the shooting game want to be the same. We don't want to have a different mechanic for our free throw than we do for our standing jump shot, than we do for our drive to the right, shoot the jump, or drive to the left. We want every shot we shoot to be mechanically the same. So we're always building whatever shot we're working on all the shots. So we want any differences in the shooting of the different skills. And of course, if you're going to coach the system, we really encourage the coach to actually develop the skill himself to the point that he can demonstrate, because he gets the feeling then of what the student is coming to learn. It's amazing to me in the game of basketball how little emphasis has been put upon the development of the shooting skill. You know, in golf, how much emphasis there is on all the technicalities of the golf swing, in tennis, of the tennis strokes. But in basketball, it's kind of been left out hanging. And so what we try to do is take the shot in basketball and put all the technicalities on it so you really can have it where it really is productive. That defensively, we're consistent every night. You hear coaches say, well, we can count on our defense every night. Well, shooting has come to the place where we can count on the shooting skill to be as productive every night as the defense is.
Two people have been really instrumental in the development of the skill systems that we have. One is a player that I coached years ago in Atlanta, Georgia, a high school player, David Sitton. I coached him 2 years in high school, and then a couple of years later I coached him 2 years in college. And he was an incredible shooter with accuracy and great range. And at that time it dawned upon me that I'd like to find a way to get every player I coached to be able to shoot that way. But it took a long time, and I finally ran across a young man named Terry Morris, who was a student coach in our program at Eastern Illinois University. And through Terry's encouragement and his insight, we have developed the skills that we have in individual development. So those two fellows have really played a prominent role in the development of these systems.
We really encourage a player to learn all the details I had an old coach tell me one time, when my first year of coaching, he said, Eddie, details make the difference. If you've got the videotape, that there's a training manual with it. Now in the manual, there'll be a lot more details than we can give you on this tape, so be sure that you refer to that. You've got to have the picture. And so we want to keep modeling before you actually how the skill is supposed to be executed. Until you perceive it, you really can't achieve it. In the learning process, we do not want to try to make baskets. Don't try to make baskets, because what trying to make baskets, it inhibits your ability to execute the skill. So while you're learning the skill, your total concentration is on what your body is doing, because that is what you can control. And the result is making baskets. So you don't put your mind on making baskets, you put your mind on what your body is doing, so it will allow you to make baskets. And this way of shooting is quick. It's quick. First thing we'll do is start what we call the timing drill, and it's building the foundation for the shot. And we start from the bottom up. We start with our feet. We want our feet shoulder width apart under our shoulders and square. We do not want 1 foot forward. We want them square, because we want the power coming up equally out of our feet. All right? Next thing is we want our arms, hold the ball here, Shane. Shane, hold the ball. We want our arms placed directly at our side. We do not want our arms back. We don't want them forward. We don't want them out or up. Now, Shane, we want the arms right at our side, right at our side. Second thing, our hands placed on the ball. Hand placement is critical in learning the skill. Now, when we're playing the game, we haven't got time to hunt hand position, but when we're learning the drills, what we call developmental drills, and this is the first one, we want to place our hand. So I take the ball like this, and this is what we call the loop seam. We take our shooting hand and we put our little finger on the loop seam and then place our hand comfortably there. We do not want to overspread anything. Comfortable spread, all right, on the loop seam. Then our support hand goes right on the side of the basketball, right on the side. Not on the top, not on the front, not on the bottom, but right on the side. All right, so what that allows us to do, as soon as we get our hands in position, it allows the ball to be right in the center of our body and our arms in. Now we have what we call the shot line. That is the midline of our body, right up the center of our body. And we want the ball centered on the shot line, so that when our feet are square to the basket, our shoulders are square, the ball comes directly up the shot line and goes to the basket. Now, there's 4 ways to miss a shot directionally. You can miss it too long, too short, to the right, and to the left. If we learn how to get squared up and power up evenly, keep the ball in the shot line, we eliminate 50% of the misses. What's the 2 ways we eliminate? Right and left. Our misses now are limited to too long and too short. That will increase your percentages. And then the next thing is we want to make sure that the ball is set when we get ready to shoot it. This ball is relaxed. This ball is set. This ball is relaxed. This ball is set. We want the ball set. We want the ball set. And this allows us to take the ball straight up and to the basket. Straight up and to the basket. Straight up and to the basket. If it's not set, then we got to take it backwards before it can go forwards. We say no negative motion. No negative motion. Timing is timing the movement of the ball with our feet. Timing and moving the ball with our feet. The ball starts with our feet. It does not start with our knees. As my knees bend, the ball doesn't start. The ball stays here until my feet start. And when my feet start, the ball starts. And we call that the timing of the shot. The ball starts when our feet start. Then we want to make sure that the hand goes all the way through the basketball. It does not stop itself. You let it go. You do not stop your hand. You let it stop itself. Let it go all the way through. Relax at the end, all right? So when I finish the shot, I look like this. When I finish the shot, we say stay with the shot. And that means in these developmental drills, When you finish your follow-through, you stay right there until the ball hits the rim, goes to the net, or hits the floor. After that is you go through the checking system. Before the shot, we check our feet, we check our arms, we check our hands on the ball, and then we check our set. After the shot, we check our hands to see if our hand's all the way through, that this hand is like this, not like this. We check and see if our first finger is on line with the basket, and we check and see if we have a proper window. And remember, window affects your arch on your shot. Your hand should be at a position where you can see the square on the backboard and the basket right under your hand. So that's checking your window. And then we check our feet to see if they're still square. And one last thing, on the timing drill on our feet, we want the hand to go all the way through, and then we want our feet to just barely leave the floor, because we want to get a full extension of our feet as well as our hand. This is the first drill, the timing drill. Relax it, set it. Okay, we're ready to shoot it now. All right, when I say shoot, you're just going to go ahead, knees, feet, hands, stay with your shot, and you check and stay until I tell you to take it down. Ready? Shoot. All right, nice and relaxed. That shooting hand wants to be nice and relaxed. And check it now. See if your hand's all the way through. See if you're on line. See if you got a window. And see if your feet are still square.
We're looking at the left side, the offhand of the shooter. Now we're looking underneath, and that's the hand position that you should see on the basketball. Then here we have the ball set, fully set, and he's timing the ball with his feet, and then he stays and hands all the way through. His offhand, his right hand is not turning, and that's a good picture. In this segment, we're concentrating on the timing drill, and that's coordinating the movement of the ball with our feet and to get the hand all the way through, nice and relaxed. We always start every drill in about 8 or 10 feet and back up to about 15 feet maximum. This is our free throw.
The second drill of the developmental drills is what we call the pop-up drill. It is the lead up to the jump shot. And we always build on what we've already done. We're not going to do away with anything. Everything remains the same. Feet placement, arm placement, hand placement, execution of the shot. But this time, after setting the ball, we're going to step backwards with our off foot. If I'm right-handed, we're going to step back with our left foot, because we want to make sure our left foot does its job in pushing my body in the air. First phase of the drill, I want to keep the ball set now. Make sure it's set. I'm going to step back, step up, and stop. I'm going to look down and see if my feet are square. I want to know what my body's doing. A lot of times I can step back and step up, and they feel square, but I look down there, and they're not square. So I got to teach myself what it feels like when my body is correctly performing. So I step back, step up, check my feet. All right. Phase two, I'm going to step back, step up, pop up, keep the ball set, and check my feet and see if they're still square, which means my feet are pushing equally, and that's what we want. Now, if I step back, step up, and pop up, and I check my feet, one foot is forward, one foot is back, that means the foot is back did not push equally. And that is the foot I got to get conscious of working, because it's going to cause my body to turn, and I'm going to miss in the direction of my turn. Third phase, I'm going to actually shoot the ball now. I'm going to step back, step up, and shoot the ball. And then I'm going to check my hands, my line, my window, making sure I see the square under my hands, and then my feet. Now we call the pop-up drill, all right? And what you've got to learn to do is make sure that that ball starts with those feet, the lift, and then to the basket.
Okay, so we have the pop-up drill here in full action, and we're really concentrating on getting good explosion with our feet and allowing that hand to go all the way through. That's a good picture of the hand going all the way through. And when we want to come down relaxed, then we want to check ourselves all the way down on every shot. And remember, the checking system is how we coach ourselves. When we forget to check ourselves, we're not coaching ourselves. Nice and relaxed. Power up with your feet. Get your hand all the way through.
There's several common problems, basic problems, in causing you to miss. Now, there's a multitude of problems later on we'll cover and all the different problems shooters have, but there's 4 basic ones, all right? When you miss to the left on your jump shot, when you miss to the left, most of the time, it's because, this is for a right-handed shooter, it's because your left foot has not pushed adequately. And so when you go up, it causes a twisting and gets you offline, all right? That's the most common cause to miss to the left. The most common cause to miss to the right is you get the ball off the shot line. You get the ball over to your strong side, and you come up a little bit offline, and that's where you hit. Now, that most often happens off the dribble. You're driving, you come into the shot off the dribble, and you bring it up when you're on your strong side, and instead you don't get it all over in the shot line, and you come up offline, and you miss to the right. Now, when you miss short, most of the time, when you miss short, there's a couple of basic reasons. One is you don't power enough of your feet. Like Mike down there, you don't power enough of your feet, cause you miss short. Or your hand stops. You stop your hand instead of letting your hand flow all the way through. And then the third thing for causing you to miss short is you're out of time. The ball is ahead of your feet. There's 3 basic reasons for missing short. The basic reason for missing long is that during the movement of the ball to the basket, your brain says, not enough power. So instead of your hand staying in a nice, easy rhythm, right at the end, it speeds up. You're what we call a jerk. You jerk your hand, and the ball goes too long. But I want to mention those as the 4 basic causes of misses. All right, now we go to the third shooting drill and the developmental drills, and it's the rhythm dribble drill. Rhythm dribble drill. And what this is the lead up to shooting off of the dribble. Now we'll see a really good fluid shot off the dribble. The rhythm dribble drill is the last dribble as you lead into the shot. It's the last dribble as you lead into the shot. So we start at an angle where we are not squared up to the basket. In other words, this drill is I'm squared up to the baseline but not to the basket. I start with the ball set, all right? And I'm going to step with my inside foot directly at the basket. I heel and toe. We say make a definitive step with that heel and toe, all right? Step with the inside foot, dribble with the outside hand, always looking at the basket. So the ball's set, it's heel and toe, dribble, and reset. And stop and check and see if your feet are square. First part. Second part, same thing, step, square, and pop up, keep the ball set, and see if your feet are still square. Third phase is now I'm going to shoot the ball. Start with a set, looking at the basket, heel and toe, square, and stay with the shot. Now I want to still check my hand, check my line, check the window, and check my feet.
Our concentration's on the basket. The ball comes up in our off hand, and our dribble hand comes back to the shot line and right up and to the basket. Again, we get our hand all the way through and we stay with our shot. But getting the ball off the dribble back to the shot line is so important. Shooting the basketball is not a difficult skill once you master the technique.
On the rhythm dribble drill and shooting off the dribble. Off the dribble, the ball must be reset. When it gets back in the shot line as it's moving upward, you've got to get your hands turned. So it's continuous and right on to the basket. And remember this, no matter which direction you're dribbling, In the game, front court or back court, your eyes are always focused on the basket. You never look in the direction you're dribbling unless you are dribbling at the basket. Your eye focus must be on the basket. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to what we call a circle drill that teaches us in mass how to get squared up. In other words, heel and toe, inside foot. And so the girls here are going to demonstrate it without a basketball and then with a basketball. Now their vision is always concentrated on the ball, which represents the basket. Go. Good. All right, spread out. Now you're going left. Go the other way. Ready? Go. Go. Good.
The circle drill teaches us the movement of the heel and toe, and then we go back to the drill, and again you see a real good and heel toe action here. And now we've got our mass, first step, heel and toe, keep the ball set, pop up, check your feet, and now we're shooting the basketball.
Now we're going to add 2 shooting drills. One is the jab and shoot, and the other one is the cross and shoot. Like on your one-on-one play, your jab drive, your cross drive, your jab dribble, your cross dribble. Now we're going to be able to jab and reset the ball and shoot the ball. So I got the ball set in this drill. I'm going to jab, step, ball comes to hip. I come back to square, ball comes right up the shot line and right onto the basket. In other words, when I jab, I make the defense back up. And I'm right back and up to the basket. Jab, reset, and right on to the basket. Then I'm going to check my hand, my line, my window, and my feet. All right? Now that's the jab and shoot. Then the cross and shoot is just the same, except I go the other way. I cross, reset, and right on to the basket. And then I do my checking system. Remember, the checking system is how we learn to coach ourselves. If we are doing what we're supposed to be doing and we're not, then we make the corrections.
So here we got the jab, reset, got to get the ball turned and up to the basket. Stay with our shot, check ourselves, make sure that hand goes all the way through. After the jab or the set, the ball's got to come right back into the shot line, or after the cross, right back to the shot line. Do not swing the ball out away from your body. Feet are good. It's an easy, flowing, powerful. You can see the power in Tasha's legs here as the energy flows up through her body into her hand. It is almost effortless once you get the timing down between your feet and the movement of the ball. And she's checking herself after the shot. Jab and shoot with a dummy defensive player. Now we got the mass drill, jabbing and shooting.
The last drill we're going to do on the shooting, the developmental drill, is what we call spin and go. And this is a drill, you know, so many times we work on our skills when we're by ourselves at home, or out on the playground, or in the gymnasium, we're by ourselves, nobody else, and we kind of mess up our feet because we don't learn all the operative maneuvers out of the right foot position. So what we want to do, the spin and go, is a real simple drill that allows us to always catch and square up before every move we make when we're on the perimeter, the spin and go. So, Aaron, so if I get the ball and I'm starting this position, I just toss the ball with a reverse spin on it, all right, and go get it, catches that as if it was passed to me, then square up, and then make my move, all right? So I spin, catch, square up, show, crossover, heel and toe, shoot the ball. It's really important to do that. It's not, you should not, in your own work, just shoot around. You always ought to work on catching, squaring, and then working off the correct pivot foot.
We really can't overemphasize the details in execution. In this case, we're really working on the feet right from the start. This is a great thing to do when you're playing by yourself, to spin and pass to yourself so you make sure your feet are operating properly. Because if you're going to be a player with that ball, it starts with your feet. And so here we have catching and shooting, then catching, shooting again, checking ourselves. Then we got the jab dribble, goes hands all the way through. And then the cross dribble. So the spin and go is really a great asset to a player who really wants to build the game all the way up. It gives you an opportunity to play with somebody even when you're by yourself. Just keep in mind, details do make the difference.
One of the great feelings in baseball, never happened to me very often, but when you're batting and you hit a pitch exactly right, you know, everything's just exactly right, you don't even feel the ball hit the bat because the timing is perfect. And that is the way it is in shooting the basketball. When you know your timing is right, that ball just leaves your hands and floats to the basket and finds its way into the net, all right? And that's what you're really striving for. And that's the way you know the timing is right, that the power out of your feet is timed perfectly with your hands. That was what we just call catch and shoot. That's just a catching drill, working off the wing, getting your feet squared up, bringing the ball into the shot line and right under the basket. Kyle did a real good job of staying with his shot. Now this time Jeremy is going to catch, square, he's going to show shot, but then he's going to cross dribble to the baseline. He's going to shoot the jumper off the baseline. Now what we really want to pay attention to is his feet, how he gets in to that dribble, the rhythm dribble drill, which is the last phase of his shot.
Okay, when Jeremy catches the ball, he's squared up to the passer, squares to the basket, shows. Now look at that cross step, outside hand, heel and toe, beautiful heel and toe. And there is the full picture. Square, cross, stay with it all the way. Then we got the dummy defensive here on the same, on a cross and shoot. Now we got to cross dribble and shoot.
The third drill off of the wing, the third phase of this drill is where we're gonna show and jab dribble, jab being to the middle. Off of these drills, the cross step is to the baseline and the jab dribble is to the middle.
So the show and the jab dribble goes to the middle of the court from the wing. Notice the eyes are totally focused on the basket. Notice a good heel and toe on the step into the shot. Here we got the dummy defense. Nice concentration. Stays with the shot.
The next live type shooting drill that we're working in a sequence here is what we call stand and shoot. And this is applicable when the ball is on one side of the floor and the shooter is on the reverse side, like against a zone defense, and the defense is really sagged in helping on the post. And so he doesn't have to break out to get squared up. He's open enough where he's just standing in position. But what we want him to do is to make sure as his foot away from the passer is facing the basket, the foot close to the passer is open to the passer. Now the reason we want this is so when he catches the ball, he's got momentum and rhythm coming in as he steps in to shoot. What we don't want to happen is for him to catch the ball with his feet square, or her feet square, and then step forward to get momentum and rhythm. That's what we're trying to stay away from.
We're open to the passer now. Foot comes in squared up, gives us momentum and power to the basket. Step and power, hand all the way through.
The last one of this series of drills is what we call stepping and shooting. The last was stand and shoot when you're open to the passer. This is stepping and shooting. And the application here is when the ball goes into the post, the defensive player on the shooter goes in and doubles the post, and the ball comes back out to the shooter. What we don't want the shooter doing is standing there square, catch the ball, and then again step forward to shoot the ball. So we want the shooter has one of two choices: to receive the ball with a foot back and then bring it in for momentum, or while the ball's in flight, to step to get the ball and shoot it.
Step back and step up. Step back and step up. And this time he's going to step. And step. Important thing, and that ball comes in, the receiver brings the ball into the body.
One of the things about shooting the basketball is, what do I look at? Where do I aim? And for years, you know, we said, and coaches said, top of the front rim, back of the rim, etc. But now we've developed this system. Here's what we say: you just look at the picture of the basket. Because you're getting yourself squared up, you get your heel and toe, you get yourself squared up, you bring the ball up the shot line, your hand is going to the right position as far as elevation goes, like 60 degrees, you're looking through the window. We just want to see the picture, nice and relaxed, and the ball finds its way into the basket. So we no longer say there's a specific point up there to concentrate on. We just say, see the picture, the basket, as your point of aim. The most important coach that you are ever going to have is going to be yourself. It's going to be you. It's not going to be your high school coach, your junior high coach, your college coach. It's going to be you, because you're always going to be there. Now listen to this. Do not be overly critical of yourself. Coach yourself, correct yourself, and go forward. Don't dwell on things negatively about yourself, because that'll really hurt your game. You just want to learn to, you know, that's the way you want your coach to coach you, right? Teach you, correct you, be positive, reinforce you, and let you keep going. Well, do the same thing to yourself. Don't drag yourself down. When you're having difficulties, don't dwell on it. Just correct and go forward. I used to hear too much dribbling, and that is true. It can be true. But to be a really good basketball player, you got to be able, Ross, to put that ball on the floor effectively and with great control. What we're going to work on here is high rate of speed, like you're transporting full court. You got the ball in your control. You're really accelerating, long strides. You come into the scoring area, you've got to decelerate. And the way you do that is by shortening your steps, chopping your steps. And if you're moving head on the basket, you're just going heel and toe on the opposite foot to get into the shot. If you are moving in an angle where you're not squared up on the basket, you've got to get that square up by heeling and toe into the basket. Anytime that you receive a pass that is not on line, or you have to reach out to receive it, reach up, you always bring it into the shot line, into the pocket area before you go up to shoot the ball. Never take a wide or low pass straight to the top to shoot. A word on low post shooting, in that there are a couple of differences. The mechanics are basically the same, but one primary difference is when we're playing on the perimeter, we want the ball to travel up the shot line, into the shot pocket, and up the shot line, into the triple threat position, up the shot line, all right? The triple threat position being in front of the numbers. On the post, because of all the defensive action around the post in a congested area, we want the pocket or the triple threat position to move up. So now the play starts from here, just above eye level. It starts from here, not here, on the post, all right? Everything else is the same on the shot. We want the ball to start with the feet. So if I got the ball on a low post here, and I make a turn, when I start my feet up, the ball still starts at the same time. But it's important to move the ball from here to here as far as the starting position. So the turn shot on the post, mainly just what we promote is the fact I got the ball here, If I'm going to shoot this way, I'm going to show here, keep my feet planted, show here, keep the ball up, make a complete turn, square up, and shoot the basketball.
There you go.
Show, get the defense to lean, show, make the turn, keep the ball up. Now, a lot of times we forget and we turn with the ball here. Show, turn with the ball up, and score. We're going to do a segment on backboard shooting. Now, during the developmental drills, we do not shoot for the backboard because we want to know that you're squared up to the center of the rim. But in other plays in the game, after you get beyond developmental drills, we really want you shooting for the backboard. Several things. From specific spots on the floor, you always shoot for the backboard. You never one time shoot for rim, one time shoot for backboard. Like at 45 degrees, if I'm here on the floor, right in here, and I get a shot, I always shoot for the backboard. I never one time shoot for the rim and the next time for the backboard. Because what's going to happen in competition, I'm going to go right up and be indecisive and hit right in between them. That happened to me a lot a century ago when I was playing basketball, all right? So you pick your spots and you always shoot for the backboard. You never vary that. Then all drive shots, you use the backboard. Most post shots use the backboard. And the reason is because of body contact. The backboard has a margin of error. In other words, it absorbs energy. So the ball can hit the backboard and be caught by the front rim and still go in. Shooting for the backboard, we usually pick the high part of the square on the backboard. That's your point of aim. Now, the movement and power will alter that a little bit, but that's your basic spot. And here's what we think. High and soft. High meaning high corner and soft, all right? So if I'm coming down, the next critical part is I always square to the backboard, not to the rim. When I come into this spot to shoot, I'm squaring now, heel and toe, toward that spot of the backboard, not heel and toward the rim. And that's the reason I got to condition myself. When I hit this spot of the floor, it's automatic. I don't have to think about it. So I come in, it's heel and toe to the spot on the backboard and into the basket. All right, in talking about free throws, we go back way to the start when the first developmental drill we did was the timing drill, which is the free throw. So mechanically, we are shooting the timing drill to shoot free throws, all right? So that is easy to remember. It's the first drill. Now, several things about the free throw. One is make sure you stay with the shot. Make sure your hand goes all the way through and you stay right there until the ball is either in the net or coming off the rim. That's critical. It increases your percentages dramatically. And then make sure you don't back up off the line. When you release the ball, don't be backing up. A lot of players do that, and that really hurts you. Do not back up. Next thing is, you need a ritual when you shoot the free throw. You need to have the ball in your possession between 2 and 5 seconds from the time the official gives you the ball. 2 to 5 seconds. No longer, no less. So you develop a ritual, whether it's 2 bounces, breathing, or whatever. During the ritual, the last part of it is you bring the ball up and set the ball. When you set the ball, there should be a slight pause there before you go into your shot. Now, here's what happens during the set. We say you should have a positive reinforcement phrase in your mind at the moment of the set. You say in your mind, count it, it's in the bank, string music, or whatever, that you see success. And when I played in high school up in Kentucky a long time ago, we played the #1 team in the state, and we won on the free throw at the end of the game. They had a great team. And the guy who made the free throw for us, I can remember hearing him game after game after that. Every time he went to the free throw line, the name of the team was the Ashland Tomcats. Every time he shot a free throw after that, he was saying, Tomcats. Tomcats, Tomcats. And he was seeing in his mind the winning shot that he made in that game. And that's what we're saying. You pick out a positive reinforcement phrase, and when you set the ball, that is in your mind, and that helps you complete the play. It keeps your mind off making baskets, and that's the last thing. Do not try to make the free throw. That'll kill you. Don't do that. Just execute the skill.
The first team competitive shooting drill we call shooting the spots, and there's 5 spots around the basket, and we work on catch and shoot or dribble and shoot, and we shoot in competition. All players on the team are shooting at all the baskets and keeping score. Our next team shooting drill we call a challenge or concentration drill, and the passer passes to the shooter at the 5 spots. As soon as the ball hits the shooter's hands, the challenger rushes him and tries to break the concentration. So we call this the challenge and concentration drill. Then we have the 30-second drill, the 5 spots drill, which is highly competitive. The players like this one, and it's where they have the 5 spots designated on the floor, free throw line, left and right elbow, and the box on the low post. And they can shoot any of these spots. The description of the scoring is in the training manual. But this is a highly competitive drill, and we keep team scores. We have the team broken up into several members each on each basket, and this is a fun drill. And then we go to the next 30-second drill. It's called the 2-ball drill, and we're shooting elbow to elbow, right to left. You got a rebounder and a passer. And again, we're keeping score by teams on the baskets. And what we're stressing in these 30-second drill is be quick but don't hurry. Execute properly and finish the play. Our final segment is team action shooting drills, and these are simply examples that all of our shooting drills, after we get beyond the developmental drills and the competition drills, are all based on our team offense. We'll give a couple of examples here. One is the jam screen series.
When the defensive player hits a screen, the shot is right behind the screener. If the defense cheats over the top, the shooter goes to the baseline. If the defense follows the shooter, the curl is made to the middle for the shot.
Next one is a zone series where we hit the post from one side and reverse it to the shooter on the offside.
Even in the team shooting drills, we're concentrating totally on fundamentals: passing, execution of the shot, get our feet right, timing, hand through the ball.
These are just a couple of examples of team action shooting drills, but all of our drills in practice are based on what actually is occurring in our offense.
All right, now we want to briefly cover shooting problems. Again, we don't have enough time to show it all in detail, but I just want to hit on them. One is this problem of thumbs, overspreading the thumbs on both the shooting hand and the support hand. If you overspread the shooting hand, it locks your wrist where it doesn't flow freely. If you overspread your support thumb, it gets involved in the shot. All right? And then we don't want the support hand turning and pushing the ball. We want the support hand staying still at the moment of release. We don't want it to turn, because that causes an action against your shooting hand. We do not want you to rubber band the ball. We want you to rubber band the ball. We don't want you to release at the point of release, bring your hand back. And we call it rubber banding. Leave your hand right there until the shot is completed. And then we don't want any unusual hand actions. Now, coaches, this is what happens. If you get a player, their hand, when they finish the shots like this, or like this, some unusual hand action, the problem is with their feet. They're not powering enough with their feet, so they're having to get the energy with their hand. And so you go to the feet to correct the hand when you get unusual type of hand actions. And then not setting the ball. You come up to shoot, you don't set the ball, so that means you got negative motion. That means the ball's got to go backwards before it can go forwards. So you got to get the ball set so there's no negative motion. And then we don't want you to overset. Now this is infrequent, but I have seen players do this where they lock their wrist. They set it so hard that they're locked, and when they shoot, they can't get their hand to flow. So don't overset. Next thing is, do not peek out on your shot. In other words, when you lift off the floor, you don't get to the moment of release and hang and then release. You let the ball, shooting is a unit action. It's a fluid motion, no stop action. And then we don't want the arms to raise too early. We don't want to get out of time. The ball starts with the feet. We don't want the knees bending and the arms up here. That puts everything out of time, throws your shot way off. And then we say when you shoot short, you know, there's a power shortage. A lot of times, you haven't really exploded with your feet. The player shooting short, the feet are not acting properly. Or the hand is stopping. Or the ball is raising too early. That usually causes shooting short. And then the last one I will mention, and there's numerous ones. We have more in the training manual than we've got on this tape. But a lot of times, kids have been taught to shoot off their fingertips. And we see them come to camp, and they got the ball like this. That's a misinformation. You want the ball in contact with your hand. If you don't overspread your fingers, the palm of your hand cannot touch the ball. So we want contact with the pads and the fingertips. In closing, I would just like to encourage you to keep referring back to the videos, to reaffirm your skills, and to really develop your full potential. It has been a privilege for me to bring these to you, and we encourage you to consider attending one of our basketball camps, and keep in mind that you are really a special creation, that God has given you a potential, and to maximize yourself in basketball or whatever you're doing. And I am grateful that God has given me the opportunity to serve young people through our basketball camps.
Special thanks go to Coach J.B. York, former players David Sitton, John Berger, and for every player who took part in production of these videotapes. All students involved have these instructional tapes. Consult your training manual. Coach Don Eddy conducts basketball camps every summer throughout the country. Coach Eddy welcomes younger players as well as high school students as they improve their basketball skills. For information about the camps or for details or comments concerning these videotapes, contact Don Eddy Basketball Camps, 4522 Black Hickory Woods, San Antonio, Texas, 78249. Phone 210-492-9779. And to the following Don Eddy basketball campers and coaches, our special thanks.